I'm feeling a little bit compelled just at the moment to explain how a relationship with Jesus Christ works in your life. And this is why I have absolutely no inhibitions or shame about, sharing what relationship that I have personally. So a few weeks back, when I was grinding up one of these 8-inch pipes, I had an AEG grinder, and randomly it just chewed up out of my hands and fell and hit the ground. On that day, I stopped and I was like, well, I'll just go and buy another. Now, when I went and bought the other, I was surprised at the other angle grinder that I had. It had twice the gear in it as that, and I was actually a little bit gutted about, the new angle grinder. I mean, the quality of it's fantastic, but I'm not saying I was possessive, but I thought I'd broken the one that I'd had. Now, later that week, I went and got some proper, electrical cable crimps and some really thick heat shrink so that I could repair the cable on that other grinder. Now, weeks ago, I kept getting give that angle grinder to this bloke you work with. I won't tell you his name. Anyway. And so I was sitting on there, and then I could see an unfolding of different scenarios in the workplace about why that would be a relevant thing to do. And so then the other day, I finally packed that angle grinder up, even though that I thought it was fantastic. And I just put a letter in it. Look, Jesus has told me to give you this angle grinder. And I gave it to him because, I was going to do it anyway because, I thought I had plenty. Anyway, after I give him the angle grinder, I keep getting signs, you've got a gift on the way. And, sort of didn't really think too much more into it. But then first of all, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's my inner child, but I like Fatmax, Stanley Fatmax, 20-inch, cordless grinders and stuff. I mean, I've got Ryobi. Ryobi is shit. I put that on the Ryobi. I use it just for, wire brushing. Now, so first of all, this turned up. The day I gave it away, this was then in the pipeline, and I ended up with a Stanley Fatmax proper grinder. This thing, probably the best grinder I've ever used. So I gave away one that I thought was good, and I've got one that actually exceeds what I had, which is interesting. So yay for Fatmax. But that still wasn't the end of it. I thought that was it. So today, I went and had a conversation with this bloke. Sat down, we had a cup of tea. And as we were talking, it's hit him all of a sudden. He's like, oh, I've got a grinder down in the shed. Now, how many grinders does a bloke need? So I've got one for cutting. I've got one for cutting and grinding, or one for grinding. I've got Makita, one for cutting. I've got one for this. I've got a cordless one. But honestly, what I didn't have one was just a solid grinder. Anyway, turns out, from what I gave away, I didn't just end up with a Fatmax, which is what I've been after the whole time, and my kit's complete. I've got other Fatmax gear. This turns up a proper, old school Hitachi grinder. No soft start, nothing. Just tough. So, what am I trying to get at here? And just I am wanting or needing nothing. So, from me giving a gift, I ended up with two in return. And not just any two, I ended up with the exact one that I was after and the exact one that I was needing. So, this feels like it's a bit of a lesson in sharing. Sharing is caring. And, you've got the economy of salvation, you've got economic economies, but I honestly think there is an economy of generosity, and it sits within pay it forward. But just don't, if you can't do it, don't. But if you feel a premonition in your heart to give something away, because you can see how someone could, see value in it and see a reward in it, just do it. Things come and go. It's pointless holding on to belongings like they are possessions. Don't possess your belongings. And more often than not, what you will find is as you give something away, you will end up in return, and it won't happen overnight. It may take a week or two, but you'll typically end up with what you were needing or what you were after. So I lost something that I thought was good. I ended up with a new one anyway. But by giving away what I thought was, fantastic, I ended up with brilliant and exactly what I was after. So that's how God works in our lives. I've got another one for you. I just bought 3 boats. I know it sounds silly. This is one of them. I bought 2 blow-up boats, and I had a friend I've got a friend, and they've been wanting to exercise. So for about a month, I've been contemplating how can I help my friend to exercise. I was thinking, do I buy him a bike? What do I do? Anyway, I caught up with him the other day, and I just collected my 2 boats from the mail, my blow-up ones. They're the size of this, but blow up. And so I just gave him the boat, because I thought, well, if you like rowing, because they actually do like rowing, I was like, get the rower in front of the television, start rowing, now you've got a rowboat, so it's time to go on an adventure. Within half an hour, I had a boat and a trailer turn up of the exact size returned to me. You can't give stuff away when you're in love with God. You can't give stuff away and not have it returned to you, just better and then some. So the economy of generosity, I would call it. It is something to definitely contemplate, but we must give with a loving heart and not expect anything in return. And as we do this, we start to recognize that we love unconditionally, do unto others, and all of a sudden, life begins to work properly. This is me shamelessly talking about my relationship with Christ. It's not a bad relationship. I have everything that I need, want, or desire, and the life that I live is it's the good life that is talked about. The good life is not about millions and billions. The good life is about living the precise life of who it is you are and having fun every step of the damn way. That's what was promised, and that's what you get. So there's nothing wrong with opening the heart and doing a bit of giving, because giving truly is living, and at some point it will start to return to you in ways that they're quite miraculous, but ways that are just very uncanny, and ways that you will end up with what you needed, more so than what you wanted, but what you needed was even better than what you wanted. There we have it. Gotcha.